Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Scrap Your Scraps Thursday night. Tonight we're working on a card using up some scrap white cardstock. I don't think it's media paper. It doesn't feel thick enough. I'm going to try to use up some of my inks, use up some of my pastes, and use my stencils because they just, even though they aren't something that sits around and dries up, it's a good idea to be using them. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is measure this cardstock. Just want to make sure it's the right measurement. I'm doing a top fold card, so I need 4 1/4 wide, and this is, oh my gosh, it's just a little under 4 1/4 wide. I'm going to keep it anyway, and let's see how much under 4 1/4. Yep, it's evenly under 4 1/4, which is good because sometimes I don't cut straight. And it's 11. So that 5.5 times 2 is 11. I can't believe it. So this is the perfect size. I don't have to cut anything or go searching anywhere else. It just happened to be lying around. I do want to make a score line so that I can fold it in half. So I'm going to get my scoreboard out. Now, one thing about scoreboards, do not lose this guy because it really makes your life miserable when you don't have your, what do you call that, bone folder. So I have a rub-on thing that I've been using that looks like I might, oh, there it is. So I'm having to use this rub-on thing to do my bone folding, which is not ideal. So this is 5.5 should be halfway, and it's just a little under 5.5. So I'm not going to score heavily. I'm just going to do 2 little bits of a score line. You can't even really see it here because I just want it to be broken enough that when I fold it and line it up, it will fold without any difficulty, even though I know that it's not going to fold exactly on the line. And see, that won't even fit in there, so I'm going to have to find a safe place for that. All right, so that's all you need your bone folder for. And now I'm just going to, well, your embossing template thingy, board, whatever. But you do need your bone folder just to make sure that this is a nice flat surface. Alrighty. Okay, so now I am going to be doing 2 things. Oh, that's the other thing I'm going to do. Tonight we're going to use an embossing relief technique. So I'm going to get out my clear embossing powder. And I'm going to get one that has some sparkle in it. Just a little bit of sparkle. This one is a Wow, and it's called Hologram Sparkle. That maybe might not go. Let me look again. It's very important what you choose. So I have just clear matte. And this is Fallen Snow, but the color will get stuck in that. This is very pretty and it does look like Fallen Snow, but I want it to act more like a resist, so that's going to grab too much of the color. And I think that's all my choices. Okay, so we're going to stick with this one. Hopefully the purple will change a little bit. You know what? We're not going to use that one either because I can feel the texture is too textury, and that will probably catch the ink as well. So I am going back to what I said earlier, and I'm going to get a clear embossing powder. Now, is that super fine? Yeah, I want super fine, so there we go. All right, that aside. All right, so we are going to apply our embossing powder and our Versamark No, which isn't there. Gotta keep your craft. Oh, here it is. I know I had it somewhere. Oh, and look, I have this one too. Which one is finer? This one or that one? I'm going to use this one. This one is a Hero Arts embossing powder. So we're going to use that one. And I'm going to be stamping through my my stencil onto this background paper. Now I want to hold this down, so I'm going to grab some tape, some washi tape, so I can put a little border around the outside. Maybe, I haven't tried this purple tape. It's supposed to be good for removability. Oh, seems okay. So I'm going to try this. And I tend to do things a bit on an angle. So I want to have about 3/16 of an inch all the way around. So I'm going to, wow, this really breaks off easy. Do my 3/16 of an inch all the way around, making sure I'm keeping things flat. I wonder if this will melt with the heat gun now. Let's see. 3/16 of an inch. And before I actually start to do anything, I'm just going to make sure I look at my lines. And I can already tell that this one is going to be, ooh, no, see, it pulls. Yuck. That's not good. Yeah, so this isn't working for me very well. I have to go very slow. Oh, just still wants to. There we go. Well, I'm knee deep now. So that tape is going to go into the giveaway bin. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, and I have my Versamark here, but I also want to use, do I want to use a brayer or, I have to kind of do this all at once, so it has to go fairly quickly. I have a roller that I could use, but do I want to use a roller? I don't think I do. I don't know how well this face down will work. I'm just going to try it. I'm going to wing it, folks. I have not done this through a stencil lately, so I don't care about the stencil, but I do want to get some snowflakes and some snow bits. So I'm going to put this here. Now I don't want the snow to go all the way down to the bottom because I want to do a technique using my picket fence and my dark gray at the bottom, and I want to have some icicles coming off of my sentiments. So I'm going to be masking about, now is there a natural masking spot? So I'm going to mask about here. So I'm going to do that area up there and put a little bit of tape at the bottom here because it's flip-flopping. And I just want to keep it flat. There we go. All right. So I need to make sure I have a piece of paper that I can use to get all the sparkle off when I finally go to be doing that. Got to clear some space in my area so that I can spread this, and I'm going to have it just sitting closed. And now the important part is to try, so I got this on nicely melded down, but I don't need it melded down for the actual resist part. I need it melded down for, and you know what, I really don't like this tape. It's just tearing away. Oh, I'm gonna have to use the other side of the card. That is no good. No good. Purple tape, no good. Dark purple tape, no good. I don't remember what product it is, so I can't tell you anything about it. So I'll just show it to you. It's like a dark purple. It's not the lighter purple that you see in some of the other tapes. So look out for that and avoid it if you can. All right, so we're going to turn this over. And I am just going to put a tack to tack it down while I put that on it. And I am going to use washi tape because I do have more success with washi tape. And I was hoping I would have some washi tape just handy. But it appears I do not. So I'm going to go dig in the washi bin. Alrighty, so I've got some travel washi. And just to make sure that it doesn't give me a heartache, I'm going to rub it on my pants a couple of times. So I'm literally just de-sticking it. I really only just need it to keep the thing down. So I'll do that again, rubbing it on my pants because my pants will have some fibers on them. Here, let me move up just a bit so you can see what I'm doing. And now it's not so sticky, but it's enough to keep it down, which is all I really want. And then we're going to put this back. Make sure we get, okay, and it's right on my snowflake. So we're just going to do this on the corners so that I don't lose my snowflake that I wanted to keep a part of. Okay, I think that that is going to work. All right, now I don't mind this purple stuff for this plastic sheet. All right, so we got this ready. We have our paper ready. And now I'm just going to smoosh this all around. Rub it into the little parts of the stencil so that I know that all of it is sticky. My head is going to be in the camera a little bit because I need to make sure that I get this properly covered. Okay, I think that's good. Put our lid back on, lift up our stencil, lift up our paper, and now we're going to put it here. We're going to spread our powdery stuff all over it, and I go generous because I'm not afraid. Then I just shake it a little bit so it catches on all of that stuff. Tap it. Ooh, it's going to be so pretty. Put this aside because it's all sticky now and I don't want to touch it. All right. And pour that back in there. anything else off into my garbage can. And I can reuse this. This gets covered. Once I get the powder on the sticky areas, I don't have to worry about it. It's just getting it on. You have to do it quickly because sometimes the Versamark will dry before you can actually do anything with it. Okay, so now we are going to heat it. And you don't want to hang over any kind of embossing powder because, or anything that you're heating up that is man-made, because you don't know what kinds of toxins you're getting from there. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your nose away from it. I'm not saying that there are toxins in this, but you just want to make sure that you're not causing yourself any grief. Okay, it's starting to go. And that's what will happen once you heat everything up. It has a point at which it just kind of goes boop, and flattens out and does what you want it to do. Just a little bit more. There we go. Make sure I get everything. Oh, that looks so pretty. I'm already thrilled with that. So give it a second to cool off because it's quite hot. And now can I show you? I can sort of show you when I put it sideways. You can see that the glossy stuff is, you can't see the glossy stuff, but you can see that it's got some pattern on there, and that is all the cooling clear embossing powder. So what will happen is that will act as a resist when I do my inking, which is going to be pretty cool. All right, so now with the inking, now that I've got everything out to the edges, I'm not going to, what am I going to do here? I'm going to tape down the bottom part because I'm not going to work on that right away. So I want to make sure that I get this taped down so I don't have any bubbly mess. I'm going to tape that a little bit further down, and it's just to hold it while I'm working on it. And for some reason it's shifting. Do not want it to shift. There we go. That's how I want it. All right. There we go. All right. Woo! That's so much fun. Got an extra piece here. Might as well stick it somewhere. Alrighty. So I'm going to do the brown, I'm going to be doing faded jeans across the top. And I have a very broken dauber felt pad, but it's going to work just fine because I'm going to use this side. And I'm going to load it up, and I'm doing dry inking right now. There we go. I'm not adding water to it just yet, but you can already see the resist that's happened here. And the ink is flowing over top of that really nicely. getting it away from the nice side of the dauber. And I'm just going to keep adding layers until it's where I want to see it. I tend to like to have it a little darker around the edges. And I'm just going to spread it down a little bit into the lower section. Now, if you were to do this with spray inks, you could do the same thing with spray inks and mask the bottom part. All you would do is go in with a damp cloth and wipe away the ink that's on the spots that have been embossed, and you'll have the ink that stays on the paper, and the ink that's on the embossed snowflakes or pattern will lift into your paper towel or cloth or whatever. I suggest a paper towel because you can always use that later as a decorative element on another piece. Okay. I'm liking this. All right, so there's the beginning of our snow. Now, I am hoping that this combination of colors is going to be good, but I don't really know until I try it. So this one is called Stormy Sky, and it is a gray blue. And I'm going to, I have to switch out my, at this point I don't think I even need to have this held down. It was just for the top part. Now I can actually open it up and do the bottom part. Okay. So let's see if this color is going to go well. Yeah, almost looks the same. So I think I might add what's going on there? Oh, it's coming off. Look at that. You do have to replace your pads every once in a while. Yeah, this is a little too similar. So I'm going to switch over. I'm just going to fill it in because now I've got color. And I'm going to switch it over to Weathered Wood, which is a little more gray. And my pad is coming off, which is unfortunate, but that's what happens after they wear. These things can shrink out. I could try to glue it. I may do that because I'm thrifty. But you know what, they're not very expensive, so I think I'll just replace it with a new pad. Now I am going to go and get my Weathered Wood, which is here. It's a little bit more of a gray color. See if it's dark enough. It also has a pad on the bottom. And this I'm going to toss. I'm going to toss it. I don't need it. I can get another one. And this one I get tossed too. It's time to get fresh ones. Okay, let's see what happens when we add this color. Yeah, this is a little bit grayer. Whoa. Flipped over my... There we go. So it's starting to biodegrade as well. And just rubbing up into the blue a little bit, making it a little bit wispy looking. There we go. And a little bit more over here. Okay, perfect. All right, so, whoop, should put that back. It's still usable, so it's going to live in its ink case. Alrighty. And Starry Sky. Alrighty. Put those aside because I don't need those anymore. Now I'm going to bring out my Distress White, and I don't seem to have a dauber, but I might have a dauber. Yes. So I do have a dauber for my Distress spray stain. So I'm going to use the same dauber because these two things are the same. One is just more in a liquid. And I'm just going to smoosh around. And I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just going to try to tamp little sort of snow piles. So I'm really trying to just kind of build up some snow layers. You know what? I think I will heat this. Heat set what's already here, and then that way I won't mix the two colors. And that just prevents it from bleeding out. All right. Get some sort of snowy look about the combination on the bottom there. And trying to reduce the amount of blue that's there from the last ink that we used. Blend it in and make it more of a gray. There we go. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. So this is like the ground and this is the sky. So that's where we're starting there. So now I have a couple of other products I want to use. Let me grab. Just going to grab a paper towel here to make sure I don't pass any color on to the next step. Now, I am going to be putting a sentiment in this central area. So I want to do two things. I want to put some icicles forming at the top of the card, and I want to have some fluffiness happening down here. I love the snowflakes and what's happening with the snowflakes. They're very organic looking. So I'm going to start with my icicle template, and I'm not going to have it because they're very long and I don't want to take away what's going on in the upper area here. I'm just going to move my stencil so that it's a little bit on the higher side, and I just thought of a way I can keep this from shifting on me, and don't know why I didn't think about it earlier, but because it's a card I can just tape it right down at the top here. And then that will help to hold it from shifting too much while I'm doing the stenciling, provided I am very cautious about it. So, put a tiny little bit at the bottom here. And there we go. I think that looks like that'll be good. Kind of take a couple of pieces of my tape and just tape down the stencil so it doesn't move. And I'll keep my finger down here so it doesn't move. And I'm going to pull the paste in this way so that I don't have to worry about it on the top. So the paste that I'm using is the new Distress Grit paste called Snowfall. It's in the last Christmas release for Tim Holtz. You'll notice that I do use quite a bit of Tim Holtz materials. This plastic that I'm pulling out of here is called Press and Seal. You can get this anywhere, really, any grocery store. And it's not sticky on one side, but it's kind of sticky on the other side. And it's kind of got a texture like an alligator skin. And what I do is I put it in my paste and I push down in the center and smooth out to the outer sides to get all the air bubbles out so that when I remove it, it's still soft and pliable. And you'll see in a moment that my pastes tend to last for a good long time because I take this extra step. And then as you get lower in the bottle, you'll have to get a bigger piece of this so you can push it right down as deep as it needs to go to keep it from drying out. So here's my paste. It's very, very pliable. And this is a beautiful paste. It's gritty, but it also is sparkly. And it looks pretty awesome. Now, I will probably have to do 2 coats because I haven't put a glaze or anything on the paint, or not the paint, but the ink that I'm using from Tim Holtz, because it's water soluble. So I would probably, I had dried it, but it will need 2 coats to sort of build up a glossy, glistening sort of look. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment and let it, don't want to heat dry it, because if you heat dry it, you'll end up with your stencil completely filled with paste, and you don't really want that. So I'm just kind of letting the air get to it for a few minutes, and I can clean it off. As long as I don't heat dry it onto my stencil, I can clean it off with water. Here we go again, another layer. And this is not opaque, so don't expect it to cover over. What's nice about the translucentness of this is that you can combine it with other materials and not have to worry about hiding those materials. Like I could still see my snowflakes through the icicles. All right, so now to prepare this and clean this up, just going to get all of it off my spatula as much as I can, or palette knife, whatever you want to call it. And then I just take my finger, put it as low there as I can, and then as I push in my what do you call this, my press and seal, I will push down on the side. So I go in the center first and then to the side, and that's when I push down anything that's on the side. And then center and push down anything that's on the side. Center out to the edge, push down anything that's on the side. And it takes a minute, but it's the thing that's going to have your pastes lasting longer. There we go. And as you can see, my sides are fairly clean and everything is well insulated from getting air in it. And then you just close the top. Now, thing you need to note, do not put it on upside down so the sticky side is facing up, because if you do that, it'll get stuck inside the lid, and sometimes it's very hard to get it open. So you want to make sure the sticky side is down. And if you're fussy, you can, make it look pretty around the outside, but I don't really care about that kind of thing. And it'll be good for the next round. Now, I'm going to lift this up carefully because I've been talking a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to wipe off, put some water in here with my sprayer. Okay. And wipe it down a little bit so it doesn't get clogged. And if you have a tray with some water in it, that's the best way to go, really. Just get the worst of it off so it doesn't get stuck in those details on your stencil, and you can wash that after. And now I can lift up. I got to dry and lift up my because there's a little bit that's gone over the edge on the card, and it might cause a problem with the envelope. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. There we go. Get that off. So as you can see, some of it is coming across the top there. So I take my paper towel from behind and I just drag it over the edge so that I make sure that it's not going to be on the front side of the card causing problems. Oh, I didn't have that on camera, sorry. So I'm just going like this from the front to the back, and so you can see that the edge is nice and clear now. Now let me dry this, and hopefully you will see why I love this paste so much. I mean, I like the grit paste no matter what, but this stuff is just so pretty. And you really have to have the card in front of you to get the full advantage of what this can do. Again, don't put your nose right over top. There we go. Just a little bit more. Got some allergies today. Okay, that should be good enough for now. So if you can see what's going on there, I've got icicles all dripping off the top edge of the cardstock. And they're clear, but they are glittery. Like I don't know that you can see the glitter so well. There you go. That's a little bit better. Gives you a bit of an idea. But you see it more when you're looking right at it with it in your hand. All right, so now I want to build some sort of snow bitty bits at the bottom. I have this product that's called Fluffy Stuff. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, you know what? Before I do the fluffy stuff, I think I'm going to give this a bit of a spray. And I'm just going to lightly tap off the water. This is adding a little bit more wet, watery texture. Give it more of a distressed look. Okay, so now you can see that there are sort of splotchy bits in amongst the snowflakes and the icicles. Okay, and I want to build, I'm thinking 2 snowbanks. Oops, I don't want it to be completely red. I should dry that before we go any further. The drying really helps to pull out the water splatter pattern. Okay, now I've got a little bit of distress, oh, not script pleased, glaze. And the thing I like about the glaze is it seals off everything that you've done underneath. And you really only need a little bit. So I have just a little tiny bit on my finger. I'm going to put that there. And I'm just going to start rubbing in the corner here. And what this does is it seals the paper, but it also brings out the colors in the ink. Makes it look more vibrant. And I'm most concerned about it at the bottom because this is where I'm going to apply my fluffy stuff, and I don't want the fluffy stuff to pull out any of the color. You can see I'm not getting any color on my finger because it's being sealed. I might do a little bit more into here too. You can see how that blue is really deepening on this side of the card. I think I'll go over the whole thing. I just don't want to go up into my, well, maybe I do want to go up into my snowflakes. Why not? I don't know what will happen, but we will see. Now you can apply this anyway. I prefer to apply it with my fingertip, because then I can spread it out nice and neat. Oh yeah, that's quite pretty. All right. All right, so there's our base. So I'm thinking snow mounds. I want to start, in the background part of it and then move a little bit forward. And I'm going to do it sort of sketchy. I haven't used this in a while. I wonder if I need to shake it a bit. Yeah. And the cap has some excess in it, so clean that off. There we go. So I'm just going to sort of create sketchy lines, mounds of snow. Just like drawing snow on there. And then this is the magic of fluffy stuff. I've got it very thin, so it's not going to get super thick, but just wait till you see what happens with this. So I'm applying heat to it, and the thicker you use it, the bigger your fluffiness is. Because the card is fairly flat in the top, I don't want to go too big. Now I'm just going to slowly move around the card, heating it up. Oh, look at that. Now, this is interesting. So now I've got this kind of fluffy surface, but you know what I realize? it's kind of falling off, and that's because I put the sealer down. So I'm wondering if this is going to wipe off altogether. Yep. Okay, so I need to just scruff up that bottom a bit. Because I've got the, because I put the glaze on there, it's not really sticking, which means that if I put it in the mail, it would just all come off inside the envelope. So I have an easy fix for that. And what you've just got to do is get rid of the glaze. So we're going to take care of that. This is garbage. Fluffy stuff everywhere. It's kind of like glitter if it doesn't stick to the paper. All right, so I am going to get my sanding block, which was, sorry, I have to reach for it. I wasn't expecting to use it today, but I saw it here. Oh, there it is. So I'm just going to do a very, very light sand on here to rough up the paper so that the fluffy stuff has something to cling to. I'm just going to use circular motions. And this is going to rough up the paper so that the fluffy stuff now will stick. All right, there we go. Got that in the bag. I always keep my my sandpaper and my sanding block in a paper bag or a plastic bag because otherwise it can scratch things unexpectedly. All right, we're going to go back in and we're going to there we go. Maybe a little bit more in there. Put my cap on. This lasts a really long time and it comes in different colors. So if you like the look of this fluffy stuff, you can get it in different colors. It's beautiful on baby. They have some pinks and light blues and things that are beautiful on baby layouts and cards. Gives you kind of that look of, there we go. So I've got it a bit thicker in the center, so I'm going to have to play with the heat a little more in the center. There we go. A little bit more there. Okay. So there we go. We've got our fluffy stuff on there. And now I'm going to plant a piece of cardstock that looks like wood. So I actually, in that brief moment, have changed my mind. I'm going to turn this into a card for North Pole. And I am going to pop dot this so that it sits up on the card. But I'm not going to pop dot the bottom part. Let me see. Yeah, I could. I just don't want to ruin any of the snow making stuff that's there. But it'll look funny if it's not pop dotted. Alrighty, here we go. Take those pop dots off. Or the tops off, not the pop dots off. Yeah, they're all there. And I'm going to place it, because I still have my greeting to put across the top. I'm going to place it right in the snowy path. And now I'm going to add thicker snow around where it's planted. Whoop. And where it has snow on the top, and a tiny little bit across the top. And let's see how that. Now this is thicker, so it's going to take a little longer to heat up and become snow-like. So this is just taking a few minutes more, because this is quite thick around the base of the sign. Oh, there we go, it's starting to go. Now this stuff can burn. When we first got it and we were playing with it, we were making s'mores and using it as a marshmallow. And the longer you heated it and the closer you had the heat done to the actual just a moment, sorry, I had to focus there. There we go. The longer you had it on and held it in one place, it would brown, and it looked like toasted marshmallows. So there's our North Pole with the snow on top, around the base. I may pull it out a little bit more on either side. So now we're just going to put our sentiment on top. So I have an album full of different sentiments and things, and organized. This came out of the C's for Celebrate. Now I like what it says here. I can't wait to celebrate, but I don't want you. I want it to be just, I can't wait to celebrate. So I'm going to fussy cut the U part out. And try to follow the style of what was done previous. And now I have I can't wait to celebrate, which is you know, can't wait to celebrate Christmas with you. So I'm going to pop dot that now, and the U, I have a section that says U in my album of sentiments, and I'll probably trim this down really tight if I ever use this, because it's been quite tight here and quite tight there, so I would need to adjust accordingly. All right, so now finishing up the card with I can't wait to, or it doesn't say I, it says can't wait to celebrate. And we're just going to put a couple of pop dots on there. There we go. I don't really need one there. So just make sure the tops are off. Gonna eyeball. And since everything is centered, I'm going to bring this down just over top. And stick that to the card. Ooh, it's a little bit crooked. Just it slightly. Can't wait to celebrate. There we go. All right, and there you have it. There's your snowy, three-dimensional, icicle-y. Oh, the icicles are beautiful. It's so sad that you can't see them, but they are there. And like I said, I think I might fill out a little bit more here in the snow, just to give it more base to hold it, so it's not so flimsy looking. And that is our three-dimensional Celebrate card. So I hope you enjoyed that quick little video and you get some ideas and you start making your holiday cards. So we'll see you next Thursday. Bye now.